You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
We already have concentration camps in the United States of motherfucking America that they've been building for 4 years now. And the question is, who in the fuck is you finna put in there?
Okay, check this out, guys. Here we are at the FEMA Re-Education Camp at Camp Atterbury, Indiana.
Yes, man. I don't know, nigga. You can send your best man, you gon' lose your best hitter. What the fuck is that?
Describe what this map is. What exactly does that mean? I mean, it doesn't really make sense in terms of states as we know them. What is this classification system? What are the purposes?
It doesn't look like the map that you and I saw in elementary school.
Not at all.
Effectively, the U.S. has been cordoned off into these different districts. And so these new emergency centers will be spread out throughout the United States in most of these eventually. And it gives FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security jurisdiction over what goes on in these places during a time of emergency.
There is a lot that cities can do, and they need to do it in the first few minutes and hours of the event.
We want people to seek shelter, stay sheltered, and stay tuned.
This is really an integrated, collaborative approach.
Coordination is key, and coordination through exercise is even better.
We can't do this on our own. You need the partnerships.
We have teams prepared to deploy on 24-hour notice.
There is no ramp up. There is no do-over. Once it happens, we have to be ready.
But for some reason, we sit there looking at the end of the book, telling us what's going to happen, and nobody's prepared. Nobody's even thinking about what they'll do. And this is the reason why they're making FEMA camps for folks who don't prepare. And they shipping them Texas cats to Walmart FEMA camps because they wasn't prepared.
6 ways to avoid being relocated into a FEMA camp. Please share with everyone. Every single American needs to see this. Let's get into it. Be prepared enough in advance to not need to seek out resources. This is the best advice I can give you. Most people going to FEMA are seeking them out for basic supplies and definitely did not prepare enough in advance for the disaster or emergency. At the very least, you should have a survival kit so you can be self-reliant and not need to seek out help. Move to locations that have a lower risk of mandatory evacuation. You can usually tell ahead of time what areas could be more prone to mandatory evacuation. Mandatory evacuation areas usually spawn FEMA camps just outside the evacuation area to house the evacuees. If at all possible, try to have a better plan than being funneled into one of these camps. Number 3 is to mark your home with a FEMA marking telling search and rescue it's already been evacuated. A simple Google search will tell you how to properly mark it, but it's relatively simple, and you just need a can of red spray paint, pair this marking with good light and noise discipline, and your home could easily be skipped over if anyone forcing mandatory evacuations. Number 4 is to build a shelter-in-place kit so you have less need to evacuate in emergencies. Sometimes you just have to leave though. There could be a chemical cloud hanging over your house or a nasty pandemic spreading through the country like wildfire. It may be necessary to bug out if you don't have the proper tools to stay put. Number 5 is have a bug out location that is not your main residence. Not many people have the resources to own multiple properties, so making friendships with preppers not in your area comes in handy here. If you don't have any prepper friends that live far enough away, try helping a few non-prepper friends become preppers. Number 6 is staying informed to know what's going on before a roundup occurs. While news sources on TV and radio can be managed and censored, amateur radios cannot. Staying informed during emergencies using CB and ham radios can help immensely. Not only can you stay ahead of any planned evacs, but you can communicate with others to work together.